Hey everyone, I'm Eric.
And I'm Nazma.
And we're on a mission to connect, inform, and tell the world all about our startup community and everyone in it.
Whether you're visiting us from social media, broadcast, or our podcast, we are coming to you from our studio made by Awesome in downtown San Diego.
And if you're looking to hear all about successes and failures or wins and losses from entrepreneurs just like you,
subscribe to our channel now to keep up to date with all the cool stuff we'll be talking about in business and in life.
Startup Show San Diego
gets into gear and in your face right now. Welcome to Startup Show San Diego.
Episode 4.
Episode 4. Today we're going to be talking about MIT Enterprise Forum.
How to keep tech alive, integrate tech, build communities that interact with tech. So it's a tech talk and fun and social today.
Yes.
And go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, and it's mostly for it caters to CEOs, people who are really high profile, that come together for this social event here.
Well, it certainly is one of those places where you, I think, and Andrew will tell us, well, you start connecting with those higher levels, because there's a lot of great places in San Diego, Startup San Diego, Startup Leadership. You've got Founders Institute, so a lot of places to bring companies up, but where do companies go, or how do you relate to them after they're starting to really do some business? And so it's nice in San Diego that we have that layered approach.
I completely agree. It's a different perspective on how people can meet. So we will learn more about that with our guests, Andrew, soon. But before we get there, we want to give a special thank you to our sponsor, JobTip.
Well, basically, JobTip invented the job board that everybody uses, decades ago, and that company got sold to the big companies like Monster, who all use that, and they realize today that it's not just about having a board. You have to actually go find the people. Most people don't post their information out there. So it's putting the smarts into the recruiting by adding AI.
They use social media to recruit people as opposed to doing it the traditional way, which is very interesting.
But one of the challenges is that most people don't post their information on social media. So how do you find it?
How do you find them? Right.
How do you find them?
Right.
How do you find the people you didn't know you wanted working for you? And how do they know that there's a job waiting they didn't know they wanted to work for? So it's a great company and great idea. It's the next level in recruiting.
Recruiting, yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get back to the show. We have Andrew
Berkhausen.
Ouch.
It's a hard one.
It is a hard one.
It gets butchered all the time.
It's almost as
sorry,
bad.
It had to be me.
It's almost
I'm used to it, though.
It's almost as bad as trying to understand how to say Nazma.
I get Nazima a lot, or Nozma. And especially here, it gets butchered all the time.
Oh boy.
But we're excited to have Nazma because she brings a different perspective for us. She has an international perspective, so she knows about thriving places that are doing very cool work in design and innovation and startups like Dubai. She's also new to San Diego, so she's got a newcomer's eye and asks the newcomers questions. So I think she brings a lot to our show.
Yeah,
fresh approach is great.
A very fresh approach.
And she's also the producer, so.
Very cool. Very cool. And coming from Dubai, they have a lot of really exciting innovations there, so I'm sure you're able to.
A lot is happening over there, and it's coming from everywhere around the world, so it's really exciting.
Cool.
And then I feel like San Diego is in a place right now where Dubai was a few years back, where they're really investing in startups and growing that community, and you see that happening, and it's I feel like it's a very exciting time.
Yeah. Cool.
And part of that, building that up, is getting people to build relationships and have fun for social. When we talk about that, we'll be especially talking about the MIT Enterprise Forum Wine Social, which is a great place to have that perfect conversation with the perfect person drinking the perfect wine. So we'll be talking about that. And there's a wine glass here for a reason.
I know.
Today.
I can't wait for it to be opened. to open the bottle.
So we'll ask Andrew when he wants to open the bottle. But we'll also be talking about how you get information, because part of companies is knowing what the next big opportunity is, whether it's Internet of Things or cyber, self-driving cars, blockchain. So Andrew will help us kind of navigate how they bring the latest opportunities through information. And then finally, companies always need direction, no matter what stage the company is. And when a company is going to make a big change or go after a big market, they need advice. So Andrew's going to talk about how the MIT Enterprise Forum provides that vehicle so that companies can get the experts they want. And it's a fun way that we all can be involved in that.
Andrew, maybe start off by just telling us how the MIT Forum came about.
Sure. So the MIT Enterprise Forum is a nonprofit in San Diego. We're a 501c8 nonprofit, and we were founded 40 years ago here in San Diego as an offshoot of MIT, the university, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and started here as essentially as an alumni group. And over time, we just kind of were really engaged more with the San Diego community, and there was no meetup.com and no Facebook and none of those things. So MIT Enterprise Forum was the place where folks came for really gritty, very heavy infrastructure conversations, very technical conversations, as well as where folks came to network. So it was kind of, here's where you come to educate, as well as here is where you come to network. So we're very fortunate in San Diego that we have a great startup ecosystem, as you both mentioned. So in the last decades, we've seen San Diego Venture Group come to town, the Leadership Institute, Connect.org, and all of these organizations are go way back with MIT Enterprise Forum, and we have strong relationships with them. But them coming to town provided so much infrastructure to San Diego startups and the community. It was really important for us, and as a city and as entrepreneurs. So when that all happened, all the networking kind of fun things went to to Connect and to San Diego Venture Group, and that was fine for us because it allowed MIT Enterprise Forum to become who we are, which are to really shine where we shine, which is high-level discussions for enterprise executives and entrepreneurs and investors that are trying to solve real problems and see where their business is going. So that's kind of how we got started 40 years ago, and a few years after our formation, now we are open to the community. So I didn't go to MIT, the university, and about 30% of our board are MIT alumni.
And Andrew, where do you fit into the MIT Enterprise Forum? What role do you play?
So I'm the marketing chair, is my official title. We all kind of do everything. So I'm an executive board member for the San Diego chapter, marketing chair. So I help with everything. I help put on the events. I help find and manage sponsors.
And it pays double six figures, isn't that right?
Of course. I make, no, actually, all of us on the board at MIT Enterprise Forum do it all for charity. So meanwhile, when I came to San Diego as an entrepreneur that has been, used to being beaten up, and you kind of have to get used to that if you're an entrepreneur, coming down to San Diego, I came into the MIT Enterprise Forum, and you have humongous investors, very notable people walking up saying, "Hey, I'm so-and-so," reaching out their hand, wanting to shake my hand, learn about me, what I'm doing, how they can help. And I was just like, wow, like, where am I right now? Aren't I supposed to be bothering you? And you really care about me. This is really interesting. So that's how I got involved. I just was just so excited and felt so welcomed to be there. And they were all really bright people. So
I was going to say, can you elaborate a little bit about the kind of people there?
Yeah.
I think that would be
Sure. So
I'd like to know at least.
Sure. So I guess the easiest way would be to discuss what our types of programs are. So we do case study formats, which means we will have a local San Diego company that is past a kind of early bootstrapping point. They have maybe a little revenue or at least some years or some traction under their belt. We'll take those companies that are looking at their scaling strategy and their growth model and everything like that, and we'll help them figure out if that's really what's best for them. So an example is a local San Diego company that makes a really neat data center infrastructure, and they're sell $1 million piece of hardware, and it's really innovative. And they're talking to folks like Microsoft and Amazon and all these big data center providers that want to purchase their solution that they've created here in San Diego. But the large enterprise clients are saying, hey, look, we're going to buy this $1 million piece of hardware from you. How do we know you're not $1 million company, though? How do we know you're going to be here in 3 years when it breaks down to service it? So this one was to find out how they scale, how they get enterprise customers to pay them $1 million when they're not $1 million company.
Okay, so to do that, you would need to hook up with people who've done that.
Right.
So you're saying the MIT Enterprise Forum has people who've done that, who can say, this is the lessons learned, here's how you do it?
Right.
So it's catered specifically to the problem, like the
Correct.
directors or whoever is helping them out. Oh, that's interesting.
And the nice thing is that the audience is they're accountants, they're financiers, they're HR people, they're executives from in very high leadership positions, because that's kind of our audience, and those folks like to be with like-minded individuals.
So can you borrow somebody from BMW or Qualcomm to come participate in helping these companies?
Sure. We've done that in the past, and the diversity of our audience really provides a lot of value for the customers as well, the companies as well. So when I was referencing that company earlier, the data center company, they were able to get basically our audience tore them to shreds, which is what we wanted them to do. We said, look, we're here, we're not going to have you present in front of our audience and everyone says, hey, great, hunky dory, let's go build this thing. No, you're here because you want to learn how to scale the business. So we provide real feedback, and so it's not easy for a lot of entrepreneurs, but it is worth it.
So it's like going on to Shark Tank before you go on to Shark Tank, before
Basically.
you have to ask for the big deal.
Sure. And
maybe somewhat better than that, because I feel like that scenario happens a lot where they just be like, oh, here, this is what you have to do.
Right.
Instead of saying, oh, this is the way you should do it.
Right.
I feel like there's a big difference between that.
Right.
And
Well,
guiding someone is not an easy task. You need the right people who've all experienced it, or
Right.
finding that group that can understand your problem and moving forward.
Right.
with it.
Yeah,
And
well,
what-
Shark Tank usually doesn't fix it. They just
They
say,
just- yeah.
we don't like this.
Yeah,
You don't
right.
get the
Bring
deal.
something else.
Exactly.
And something interesting we're seeing is that a lot of entrepreneurs think they're solving a problem, but they're actually just augmenting a solution. So there's a big difference between if you're an entrepreneur and you can't answer, hey, what problem are you solving, then you don't have a solution. You're just kind of adding on to a service that's already out there and trying a way to make it better or add additional value to it. So
You
Company.
select the people that you want to do the case study from.
very carefully, and it's very
Yeah.
competitive. A lot of people, it's a great marketing opportunity for the companies. It's a great investment fundraising tool for the companies. So it's very competitive to get up there, and it's a very long process for us deciding which companies we want to bring up there. But we try to bring a lot of diversity in verticals. So we did the blockchain in this month, and in 2 months we're doing a cannabis happy hour, and people think and we were kind of very split, the board was, as to whether or not to do a cannabis event, just because all the stigmas around it and everything like that. But the fact of the matter is there's real business opportunity in the cannabis market, because while it's now in the state of California, it's legal, right? In the state of California, it's still federally criminal. So the banks aren't able to finance the cannabis companies because they would be breaking the KYC, know your customer regulations and all those things. It would be humongous fines for the banks. And so we noticed that there's tons of private money coming into the cannabis industry saying, we want to finance these people. So, maybe the investor isn't a stoner, but he likes the green in some way or another. We're doing drones, we do biotech, we do a little bit of everything. So we had Vint Cerf, who's considered the founder of the internet. He's chief architect at Google. And he came down to San Diego and spoke in front of our audience, and Paul Jacobs, the founder of Qualcomm, introduced him, and that was a really special event for us. Paul Jacobs is a sponsor and supporter of the MIT Enterprise Forum. Just to give you kind of an idea of our sponsors, by the way, is that the folks that you interact with we have Qualcomm and these large companies that like to partner with us. We get the CEOs of those companies personally wanting to put in their money. So yes, while we have while we've had ResMed, now we have the Farrell Family Foundation. So their personal interests are aligned with our board members, and some of those are really, really, really long relationships. When Paul Jacobs told his story about how they were the first people to push, the packets back and forth between Europe and the United States, and how they didn't think of it as anything at the time, and they realized about a year later, holy cow, we're onto something. It's interesting to see those people's perspectives, having built something that we all rely on every day. It's really nice to hear people that have just built just remarkable things and hear them here in front of you, in front of San Diego, and they want to share kind of what they're doing.
I guess understanding the journey of these people, right? Because they also started somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And now you get overwhelmed when you're starting a company.
Sure.
And to hear people who were legends, so to speak, talk about their struggles. It makes you feel like, oh, you can do something.
Right, right. Because those people that have been successful, they look like gods, and oh my God, it was so easy for them. It wasn't easy for them. So you're right. So those are case studies. So we do those. Those are a lot of fun, and we'll have companies that are looking to grow but don't really know what their strategy is. They'll present to our audience. We also do fireside chats. So we'll have a very notable investor or CEO or someone that's really kind of built everything from the ground up. He or she will be interviewed by a notable banker or investor in the community. Our keynotes so we'll have one big speaker, kind of like Vince Cerf, for example. And then we also do social events. So we have the social aspect as well as the informational aspect. All the informational events have that bit of networking to it. But mainly we try to focus on educating folks and connecting others.
So we're going to go ahead and take a break. Speaking of the social aspect, we want to get the part where we're going to talk about the Wine Social, which is one of my favorite events. But before we do that, we want to
Pitch of the
day. Highlight one of our companies. We highlight a San Diego company so that they can get exposure and practice and people can know about them. And today we are going to promote our sponsor,
JobTip. So here you go.
So you watch the video and you'll see that basically they find the top talent that you didn't know you needed, and they find the job they didn't know they wanted. So one of the things they found is that most of the information that you want isn't available to you, and yet 80% of the people, or so I think they'll probably say that, will consider a job if you offer it to them. So how do you find them do that? So pitch of the day.
Hi, I'm Scott Womack. 20 years ago, we started job boards. Today, we're the global leader in the HR tech space. Statistics show that only 15 to 20% of people have their professional information on their personal social media accounts. However, over 80% of those people are willing to entertain a job change if an attractive opportunity presents itself. At JobTip, we specialize in helping you reach candidates no one else can faster than anybody else does. Our machine learning platform allows you to reach up to 85% of the target audience. At JobTip, we help you attract both active and passive candidates using modern marketing techniques across the full spectrum of social media people use almost every day. We reach candidates you can't get anywhere else. Your journey to top talent starts at jobtip.com, or connect with us at JobTip USA on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn. JobTip, the next generation of online recruitment.
Welcome back to Startup Show San Diego. We're here with Andrew
Berkhausen.
Birkenstock.
Birkenstock is good.
You'll get the name by the end of this episode, I'm sure of it.
Yes.
I've been called much worse.
And he'll be able to...
I did that on purpose.
And Andrew will be able to say Nazma by the end of it, too. So it'll work out both. You can say Berkhausen. He can say Nazma.
I can say Berkhausen. I remember it now.
Okay.
Now I'll never forget.
So we're going to be talking about the MIT Enterprise Forum Wine Social. So we'll go ahead and open the wine. While you're opening the wine, why don't you tell us what kind of wineries come there? I mean, who does it attract from the wine point of view, since you have some wine?
Sure. So we bring 20 boutique wineries, over 20. And it's kind of nice because I think a lot of the people were, a lot of the community thought that the wineries had been destroyed from the California fires. But no, a lot of the wineries are up and running and still doing okay. So they saw this as a great opportunity. I brought a rabbit.
We're prepared.
And so we've brought this wonder. Are we allowed to say what
Yes.
maker it is? Okay.
Go ahead.
So we brought this one, which is pretty wonderful bottle of wine. It's only $5 million, and it's found at your local Vons, and it's by Willamette Valley Vineyards.
Don't be jealous.
We're going to be enjoying this bottle of wine.
So can you name some of your favorite wineries that are coming year after year, and who's new this year? Do you know that?
You know, I don't have that information off the top of my head. We have a couple wineries that are returning, as well as several that are new. And so what we try to do, this is our pinnacle event every year, like our big event. So as I mentioned, all of our events are focused on the educational aspect and have a networking piece of that. This is the only event where it's straight about networking. It's still the same very seasoned audience, but you're not sitting in front of in an auditorium. Instead, you're walking around connecting with these people.
Tell us about the wine social. What is it?
Okay, fair enough. So the wine social, some good questions.
We got distracted with the wine.
Yes, right. So the wine social is our annual fundraiser. The proceeds go to teachers in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, here in San Diego. And the tickets are $99. You can get them on, if you buy them on pre-sale, and if you buy them at the door, they're $125. And it may sound like a lot of money for an event, but I will tell you this. The pricing is amazing because you get unlimited wine, and the wineries are not.
Speaking of which, maybe you should pour some before we run out of episode.
The wineries are very high-class wineries.
I think if you went to each of the wineries and just tried one, you'd be hard-pressed to work your way all around.
Right. So they're all 20 boutique wineries, and the great thing is that you can buy bottles there at discount. You can buy it by the case, or you can just try glasses. So for the $99, you get unlimited free wine, unlimited food, which is catered by the French Gourmet, which is a 5-star catering company here in San Diego, and you get unlimited networking. Unlimited wine, unlimited food, unlimited networking, and with the quality of food, the quality of wine, the quality of networking, I mean, if you were paying $100 for one of those things, that would probably be make a little bit more sense. But you get all three, which is great.
And there's a lot of different kind of food, so it's not just here's a plate and asparagus, and it's not the typical plating. There's lots of different samples, at least it has been in the past.
And one thing we're trying to do is, because we're a 40-year-old nonprofit, is that we have infrastructure that's in place. Great. We have a lot of really great contacts and connections. We provide some of the infrastructure to the other networking groups. It's a lot of fun, and we have a lot of those things in place. But our model, but things have changed from 40 years ago, and we do really fun and innovative events, and they're very interesting. And it can be hard to make something that's so interesting even sexier and more engaging and more innovative. So as a board, we kind of sat down last couple months, and we're hashing out some ideas as to how do we take this content in our 40-year-old model and kind of give it that 2018 refresh approach. Again, it was hard to do because we've always had our fingers on the pulse, but with that, for the wine social, we're going to have drones flying overhead. We have AR, augmented reality and virtual reality headsets, where folks can put on these headsets and actually get inside a genome or a math problem and see things from 3D perspectives. Really innovative. And these are all San Diego companies. We have a company that is pumping wine through a computer server. So not only do we have food and wine this year, but we're going to have interspersed type booths that are interactive, which are going to be a lot of fun because everyone's going to be drinking wine.
Make a toast to wine service.
Yes. And so I wish I could tell you guys more about what's going on with the drone thing, because I'm working to get like some really exciting things going on there. It'll be a lot of fun, and we hope everyone can come out. It does sell out every year, It is the capacity is 300. So every year we sell out pretty quickly.
When is it?
It's on May 16th. May 16th.
One
So
night
May
only,
16th.
one night a year.
One night only, one a year. That's correct. Yeah. And it's at Kenobi Martins in Del Mar, which is an IP law firm where we do most of our events. And they have a beautiful grotto and a nice place to do that. So.
Great, that sounds really awesome. Looking forward to the event.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think we need to toast our sponsor, though,
Yeah. So
JobTip,
we
because
chose
JobTip.
JobTip.
What a
For
cool
letting
solution,
this
by the
episode
way.
happen. Yeah.
And very needed these days.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So JobTip again is where you add AI for the smart search. It's basically where your journey to top talent starts at JobTip these days, because the job boards are good for people who know, and JobTip is good for people who don't even know they wanted to work for you, or people you didn't know wanted to find. So, great.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Most important thing, to get the Wine Social and to find out more about the MIT Enterprise
Yes.
Forum, where do you go? How do they find it?
So you can go to mitefsd.org, stands for MIT Enterprise Forum San Diego. So MITEF-SD. You can also check us out on Facebook, on LinkedIn. And we recently did an event for the blockchain, just to kind of do a little quick plug here. Our event for the blockchain was a week ago, and it sold out. It was 100 people was how many tickets we had to sell. We ended up selling 153, and it's got a lot of the blockchain. For example, has just so much interest here in San Diego that with that event we're looking to roll out many more events just like it. So as we continue our traditional kind of infrastructure and program model, we look to further expand it, because we're honestly having a hard time even keeping up, because there's so much innovation going on and so many people that want to engage, and the best way to do it is to come to our events.
Don't forget to check us out on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, on Startup Show San Diego. I always mix it up. So our social media is Startup Show SD, and our YouTube channel is Startup Show San Diego.
And
So
that's a
please
lesson.
do subscribe.
That's a lesson learned. Nazma was beating me
Yeah.
up. Why aren't they the same? And the answer is because social media, I figured it was a lot easier to type in Startup Show SD, but you don't get to even choose that on YouTube till you get 100 subscribers. So we get about, I don't know, over 1,000 a month now.
Wow.
Nazma's just starting our social media camp. We
Congratulations.
got your custom. They said, here's your custom. It's Startup Show San Diego.
Very cool.
So lessons learned. Think about that as you're getting your,
Well, again,
Branding.
YouTube channel Startup Show San Diego. Please do subscribe.
and everything else, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Startup Show SD.
So-
And if you want to give us an idea for a show, you'd like to be on the show, or you want to join our great sponsors like JobTip or Griffin Online Security or Wrist Roller, let us know. Or you can email both of us directly at host, HOST, at startupshowsd.com.
Yep. We look forward to hearing from you. And thank
And-
you for watching. Cheers.
Cheers.